Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyag Mofwegwe. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has disbursed 25 million naira to 250 elderly men and women from the 25 local government areas of Delta State. The cash presentation through the Renewed Hope initiative under the Elderly Support Scheme was held on Friday at the Government House in Asaba, Delta State capital. Wife of Delta State Governor Tobore Oborivori, who represented Tinubu at the event, also provided clothing materials and free medical checkups to the elderly citizens as support for the gesture. In her address, Tinubu expressed joy at the inaugural edition of the Renewed Hope Initiative Elderly Support Scheme, themed Better Days Ahead. The Senate has approved the extension of implementation of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill from 31st December 2023 to March 31, 2024. The move comes after the leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, presented an amendment to the 2023 Appropriation Bill and the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Bill to allow for the life of the bill to extend beyond December 31st, 2023 as stipulated. Bamidele explained that the 2023 Appropriation Act provided that the budget runs for 12 months from January 1st till December 31st, 2023. He noted that the funds for the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Bill are unlikely to be utilized if the capital implementation is not extended. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, put the bill to a voice vote after the third reading, where the senators affirmed its approval. A former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, on Friday was released from the Kuje Correctional Center after meeting up with his bail condition. Spokesperson for the Kuje Correctional Center, FCT, Adamu Duza, confirmed the developments on Saturday. The Federal Capital Territory High Court Abuja had granted a 300 million naira bill to Emefiele, who is being prosecuted for alleged procurement fraud. The Nigeria Customs Service Board, chaired by Minister of Finance Wale Edo, has confirmed the appointment of 2 Assistant Controllers General and the promotion of 2,209 senior officers in a statement issued on Friday by the National Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Mewada. The appointment and the officers confirmed as substantive members of the NCS management team are ACG Florence Oga Monday and ACG Queen Ogudu. The Controller General of the service, Bashir Adeni, congratulated the newly appointed and promoted officers. The Customs Board equally urged the officers to put in more efforts to ensure revenue generation, trade facilitation, and suppression of smuggling. The Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast haziness and sunshine from Saturday to Monday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook released on Friday in Abuja predicted moderate dust haze on Saturday with horizontal visibility of 2 kilometers and 5 kilometers over the northern region during the forecast period. According to the agency, a sunny sky and a hazy atmosphere is expected over the north-central cities and the inland cities of the south. It anticipated partly cloudy skies and a hazy atmosphere over the coastal belts of the country. The agency urged the public to take necessary precautions as dust particles are suspended. It urged people with asthma and other respiratory issues to be cautious of the present weather situation. You're watching News Cycle from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes Channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, CBN allows bank accounts services for cryptocurrency dealers. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories for you right after this break. Please do stay with us. This is Global Television, bringing you a live broadcast of News Cycle with Uyi Agmofwebe. Let's turn to the foreign scene now. The government of Guinea has announced that petrol distribution would resume today, 5 days after supplies were suspended following an explosion fire at the West African nation's Mayfield depot. which left at least 23 dead. The population has been without petrol since Monday, paralyzing large parts of the economy. Demonstrations in the capital, Conakry, on Wednesday and Thursday occasionally fled into clashes between security forces and groups of young people demanding the restoration of petrol supplies to service stations. The supply of diesel had resumed on Wednesday, but not of petrol. The fire at the depot in Kalom district of Conakry near the port has still not been extinguished, and firefighters continue to battle the flames. A total of 10,337 people were affected by the destruction, according to government. The United Nations says Gaza is at risk of famine if the war between Israel and Hamas continues. A quarter of households, roughly 500,000 people, are facing catastrophic conditions, according to a UN Food Security Agency. It says the territory's entire population of roughly 2.2 million people is suffering acute food shortages. Humanitarian access is needed now for supplies to flow into and throughout Gaza and for civilians to safely receive life-saving aid. The report was published on Thursday by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC), a UN body that assesses food security in places affected by conflict or natural disaster. Trucks have been bringing aid into Gaza from Egypt for weeks, but the World Food Programme, WFP, recently estimated that just 10% of food needed is currently getting into the territory. The UN Security Council is meanwhile trying to agree on a vote calling for more aid to get into Gaza. The vote has been delayed for several days over the wording of the text. France has joined a list of countries that have imposed immigration restrictions on international students, including Nigerians, with new legislation that will stop them from bringing their families to the country. The law passed by the parliament on Friday provides a new toughening immigration policy that makes it more difficult for migrants to bring family members to France and delays their access to welfare benefits. It also banned detaining minors in detention centers, while leaders of a third French region said they would not comply with certain measures in the law. A controversial provision discriminates between citizens and migrants, even those living in the country legally, in determining eligibility for benefits. Czech authorities have sought a motive in a student's gun attack that killed 13 people at a Prague university, where tearful mourners have left a sea of candles to grieve for the victims. The gunfire on Thursday at the Charles University's Faculty of Arts sparked frantic scenes of students running from the attack that was the Czech Republic's worst shooting in decades. The gunman, a 24-year-old student, killed himself after shooting dead 13 people and injuring 25 others. The government has declared a national day of mourning on Saturday, with flags on official buildings to be flown at half-staff, and people asked to observe a minute silence at noon. In a business, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has lifted ban on transaction in cryptocurrencies, saying banks and other financial institutions can now provide services to cryptocurrency exchanges and dealers, also known as virtual asset providers, VAPs. Accordingly, the CBN says financial institutions are now permitted to open accounts for VAPs, provide designated settlement accounts and settlement services, act as channels for foreign exchange flows and trade, as well as render any other activity that may be permitted by the CBN from time to time. The Apex Bank, however, said that bank accounts opened for VAPs cannot be used for cash withdrawal and third-party check. The federal government has apologized to Nigerians over the current cash crunch nationwide, adding that the scarcity will ease in the coming year. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made this disclosure in a statement during a media briefing in Abuja. According to him, the recent scarcity of Naira notes is not deliberate. He added that the Central Bank of Nigeria is doing everything possible to address the situation. He stated that there will be more cash in circulation in the new year. As the Central Bank of Nigeria's December 18, 2023 deadline approaches for the registration for the Bank Verification Number, BVN, the number of registered Nigerians has hit 59.9 million. This is according to the latest BVN registration data update released by the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS. The settlement system data issued in September showed that the number of registered BVN stands at 58 million as of September 12, 2023. While registration for the number has been delayed since the beginning of the year, the CBN's recent statement that all bank accounts without the BVN would be frozen beginning in April 2024 has pushed the BVN database a little higher. With the most recent statistic of 59.9 million, this indicates that over 1 million new BVNs have been registered in the last 3 months. Let's talk a bit of sports quickly. Anthony Joshua is set to continue his comeback with his third fight of 2023 and will be keen to get another victory when he faces Swedish heavyweight Otto Wallin 5 p.m. today in the main event of the Day of Reckoning card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. After securing consecutive victories over Jeremy Franklin in April and Robert Helenius with a 7th-round knockout in August, Joshua is now gearing up to face a tough challenge in Wallin, who has proven himself a formidable opponent, especially with his southpaw stance. The only defeats on Wallin's record to date came in 2019 against Tyson Fury in between the Gypsy King's first and second meetings with Wilder. Fury won by unanimous decision, but the Swedish heavyweight certainly made it harder nights than expected for the lineal champ. It promises to be exciting as 2 successful boxers of Nigerian descent, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, may possibly do a World Championship bout on March 9, 2024. In a statement issued on Saturday, renowned boxing promoter Adrian Ogun said since both former heavyweight champions equally lay claim to their Nigerian heritage, boxing fans in the country will be excited to see their compatriots compete for glory on the global stage. Adrian, however, noted that 2 important fights will determine if the 2 Nigerians will have the rare opportunity of fighting for world honor in March of next year. I'm sure Nigerians and indeed Africans look forward to that fight. And that's it on the news cycle here on Global Television, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using that Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Muyi Agumofwegwe. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you again.